Welcome to another episode of the Halftime Mike podcast, and thrilled to be diving in deeper today to follow up on our last podcast episode where we were talking about website call to actions. And all of this flows within the digital marketing funnel, which basically is kind of my concept on how social media lead generation can occur. That's what I wrote the book about, Game Plan for Social Media Lead Generation. And again, the six components of the funnel. At the top of the funnel, you start with attraction. You got to attract the right audience, right? And then, as a part of that with social media, you can engage that audience. And why do you need to do this is because most people are not ready to buy your product right away. They need, on average, the studies have shown that it takes about 7 points of contact with your business before somebody is ready to purchase from you. So then you need to engage them. Those are points of contact. And then you need to talk about the lead capture. Within the lead capture is lead nurture then before you can actually get to a sales offer and evaluate your ROI on that piece. So what we're talking about today is that lead nurture piece, okay? So we want to talk about email open rates because that's in that email lead nurture piece. And I got behind me on the video screen here just my rough drawing of email opens. This matters. How can you improve that? Because, ultimately in social media lead generation, I'm saying that a lot of the buying actually takes place from email, okay, from an email offer, but they need to have gotten their questions answered and trust developed over the course of time. And part of that, seriously, is through email before that can happen. And so we need to be taking a look at the opening of emails, okay? It's not just a matter of if I set up the email nurture campaign, this will work. There are tactics, and so that's what we want to dive into today, improving your email open rates, okay? How do you do that? How to improve your email open rate in your email lead nurture campaigns. Now, just to throw in a stat back at you, according to eMarketer, this is a stat that was rolled out in early 2017. Almost 237 million Americans will use email, okay? And that's a significant portion of our population. People are still reading email, okay? And we can reach them there if we can get them into that funnel. Again, the basics of that overview were great content on your website. You share that socially. People respond to that. They click through. They come back to your website. You have a lead capture opportunity, soft call to action that intrigues them. They sign up to get that offer and to join your list. Then they're in your email nurture campaign. How do we get them to open those emails? All right. So number one, the first point that matters beyond belief is the subject line. All right. We are scanners nowadays. We are scanning blog posts. When somebody comes to a blog, they're looking at the title, they're looking at subtitle lines, they're looking at images, they're scanning and before they're making to make a decision whether they're actually going to read this or not. And a vast majority don't read it start to finish. They will do some sort of scanning, and the same is true of email and in your inbox. I mean, how is your email typically organized? If you're using Gmail, things like that, I mean, you see the subject line. That's what you see. You have rows of emails, and you see subject lines, and you're making determinations many times on if you're going to read that based on the subject line. So a enticing subject line is important, and you want to stay away from screaming at people with lots of capital letters. Okay, don't do that. And you want to stay away from, salesy language, buy now, But the more you can try to personalize it, and a lot of email marketing services now allow you to begin to put in those kind of details where it can do a macro where it's it's pulling in the first name and the subject line that you want type thing, so it kind of personalizes that. But giving them something short and sweet. You don't want to go over too many words. I know MailChimp kind of even highlights it for you that there's going to be a character word limit that people could see on the screen, so can you keep it, it's kind of like a subject line on a blog post. How can you invite them in. And words like discover, da 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 da, are more helpful than learn or see or read. Okay, we all get those kind of things. But if you can bite-size it down, just discover 4 keys for X in this one, that type of thing, to invite them in is a great way to do it. And so think of personalization, think of short and sweet, and think of giving them enough information right then that they know what to expect on the inside of it. So your subject line is critical. That's the first point they see. You may need to spend as much, if not even more, time on a subject line as you do with the entire content in the email. And there are services out there that you can use if you search online, and I'll try to have one in the notes here, for generating blog titles, and I think you can use those same ones for generating email titles. Okay, that's just a little tip there for you. The second thing in improving your email open rate is to pay attention to the sending time. You do need to evaluate and try to find that sweet spot of the perfect send time for when your audience is most likely to open it. Okay, greater open rates. Now, email marketers services have agreed that midweek is generally the most successful for B2B, like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. However, for B2C, your delivery window can widen, and it can include those plus Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, so it's a bigger window. Consistently, Monday has been down, so don't be sending them typically on Monday unless you want to go counterculture and hope that nobody else is. So you're trying to. You have to test and evaluate these things. I typically like to send in the morning, so it's kind of the first thing that they see in their inbox, either the 7 o'clock in the local time zone or the 8 o'clock in the local time zone. And another window is right around lunchtime, when people are going to be, easing back into, they're going to take a break, and so they might scan email, or they're coming back from lunch and they're going to check their email. All right, so you want to get in something that might be a 1 p.m. type piece there. So you want to take a look at send times, and if you're trying to market towards a specific event or something like that, I mean, you're going to have to do, back it up and give people enough time, a runway, to be aware of that event. So, a couple weeks back and a couple days before the event, and a final reminder is all going to be helpful in that. But take a look at the send time. Is it Tuesday at 7 a.m.? Is it Wednesday at 8 a.m.? Is it Tuesday at 1 p.m.? Experiment with that a little bit and evaluate those things. The perfect send time impacts open rates. You want people to see your emails at a time when they're dealing with their email that they're going to spend some time on it. Third thing is pretty much, common sense. You need valuable content, okay? But the key within this, I think where the mistake is that people generally say too much. Again, remember, people are skimmers, so now they're in the email, they're skimming. So you need to have some subtitles and not too much content in there. They're not going to read 600, 700 words in an email, in my opinion. They're going to glance at things, and so if you want to highlight a couple things, 3 things, then you can have a title and a couple lines with that. Another title, couple lines, 1 to 2 sentences of description, call to action button to go over to that resource. Okay, so make sure that you take a look at providing valuable content in a synopsis format that you don't have to put it all there. It's not the full post. This would go off to your blog post on your website. It's another way to get content back to your website there. So I want to recommend that to you. Valuable content, and segment the content. All right, segment. This is a key that you think through why they signed up, what was the lead capture offer, and provide relevant information for them. So this is a little bit more advanced tool that you're trying to watch who is opening what and giving them content based on what they've opened or based on the list that they signed up for. So it's specific. You want to talk to them, so that's not just generic content, but you're more specifically trying to hone it in to something that's relevant for that audience. All right, so segmenting your email list, delivering more specific content to that segment is what is that? My third, fourth point here. I went through the subject line, the perfect send time. I went through third was valuable email content, and fourth was segmenting, and fifth is making sure it is mobile friendly. More and more people, let's see, what are statistics here? I think I got one. 64% are reading emails via their smartphone. Okay, all right, so well over half, heading towards, so that's 2/3, heading towards 3/4 are reading emails on their smartphone. So you want to be using a service that is friendly and displays it in a mobile friendly way. Okay, so not all content is. It's just like websites. If you don't have a mobile responsive website, you're missing out. It's the same thing for your email service. If people have to pinch and zoom, they are not taking the time many times. You can lose people, a percentage of people, just because it looks bad, formatted bad. So prepare for mobile readers. Use a service that allows you, because I know like MailChimp, for instance, gives you that mobile preview. You want to take a look at it. They're showing it differently on devices. You can see how that's going to look. Pay attention to that and give them a view that is helpful for them, and particularly just make sure it's mobile friendly. Make sure it's mobile friendly. Your email marketing service. I know that there's been many that aren't, and they look crappy, and you don't read crappy stuff when you're skimming, when you're in a hurry. We're battling that time factor of a lot of email, so we need to get in the inbox. So again, this is some of the nuances of what's important to help you get the best ROI for your funnel, social media lead generation, my whole digital marketing plan that I talk about, MikeGingerich.com/book, and that's available. You can download that at Amazon. But it's all about tweaking those pieces, giving the extra attention to those little details, which makes the big difference in the end. You can't just say, if we build it, they will come, like an email nurture campaign. You need to be taking a look at the times of when you have those going out and evaluating open rates and segmented content. So these are the keys that I wanted to go over today to help you in that mid-funnel. You've captured them. Now, how do you ensure that they are most likely to open that email, which is what you're trying to do to build trust with them. Again, it takes that 7 points of contact. If they found us on social media, came to the website, got a lead capture opportunity, got a list, now they're on our email nurture list, we want them to be opening those points 5, 6, and 7, so that we can get to the point where they have enough trust built and they're ready to go forward and make that decision to purchase. So that's it for today, how to improve your email open rates and to improve your digital marketing funnel. All right, so stop and think now. What are your campaigns looking like? What do you need to go and take a look at first? Is it your most recent subject lines? Is it the ones you're getting ready to send? Is it the send time? Do you need to go back and check your stats on that? How you doing with valuable content? Are you overwhelming them with too much? Are you using those subtitles like an H2 title in there to separate your content, and not having 6, 7, but 3 points to go to? And is it mobile friendly? What are those points do you need to check out? So go do that today, and that should help improve your email nurture campaigns, and particularly those email open rates. All right, another tip for you there. So go do it. This is Mike, Halftime Mike Podcast, over and out.